Hi everyone, so today we're not doing anything on the XK for the moment. It's overcast, it's wet, been raining. We're going to try and use this time to get in and have a practice on the plastic grill out of the XC Fairmont, or Falcon, sorry. So if we can get this thing to repair okay and glue up the cracks, and it works with this product from Worth called Replast. Um, we've got their primer to go with it as well, so hopefully it works. If we can get that to work and it does what it's supposed to, then we're going to get on to modifying the XA grill to turn it from a standard single headlight Fairmont grill to a dual headlight Fairmont GS grill or GT grill, whatever you'd like to call it, with the driving lights. So yeah, what we've done is come through everywhere there was a crack, and we've ground it out with a Dremel with a burr on it, just to V it out and make it a little bit deeper so the plastic's got half a chance of bonding, and to give us a little bit of material there that we can actually sand down to then be able to prime it and paint it after that. So this one was in an old Falcon ute and had been knocked around a fair bit, which is why I don't mind practicing on it. So we'll see how we go. So first things first, it says we've got to give this thing a hit with the primer cleaner for, what's it say? Just says let it dry. So, all right. So we'll run around, give these a couple of quick hits, let it dry off. While it's drying, we'll see if we can get this gun worked out and go from there. Alright, so never used this stuff before, so God knows if it's going to work. So basically all this stuff is a two-part epoxy with a mixing straw. Now once it's opened, it does tend to go off pretty quick. Hopefully this isn't a bad batch. And they give you a couple of straws to go with it. The idea being, once you've opened it and put the mixing straw on, don't take the straw off. It'll seal itself back up in the tube, and then when you go to use it again, you break the mixing straw off and pop a new one on, and you should be able to reuse it from there. So hasn't gone hard in the gun, so get that loaded. And now see if we can put it on a bit neat. Alrighty, one. Yes. So there's that. Try and do the underside of this one while we're still here. Trying to remember. That's everything from the bottom. Now, if we try and roll this over without flexing it too much. Okay. Give these couple up the top a shot. Where was it? Here. Okay. Now this messy thing here. Just going to try to get some build up, because this section was missing out of the grill altogether, and I really don't know if this is going to work or if we have to come back and do it in stages. I think we've got all of the cracks. Now it could just be a case of waiting for this stuff to dry and seeing what it does. I really don't know if that's going to work. That's a lot of it in there, but if it does set off, then that's awesome. If not, we tried. Plan is hopefully this stuff sets hard enough that I can actually sand it and get a bit of a shape to it. Maybe. Yeah. Right, so grab his down off of here and bring you over and let you have a look. So this is the gun we're using. It's just like it's elastic gun, I suppose, and the cartridge has got the epoxy and the resin or the hardener in there, and just a mixing straw. So when we put it in, it mixes it so it reacts and starts to harden. Up here, that tab was completely broken off. So I made a backing out of some tin and then glued it in with araldite just to hold it into the grill. So hopefully by the time it's all set, we can sand the epoxy, get it all smooth like the factory one, and the square notch cut out. I just had a bit of the tin that I folded up to give it a shelf to sit against, and we can just sand that down flat and level out. Well, that's the idea anyway. So then up here in the grooves and the cracks, we gouge those out with the Dremel and like an engraving bit on the end of it, and then laid it down in there with enough of a bead so that it's got product in there, and then we can go through, and if it does what the rep said it does and hardens off, we should be able to then sand it while still having some product left in there and some strength. Obviously anything on the underside that doesn't need to be sanded off, I'll probably just leave there so that there is some film build and some strength. So we're going to shut it down here, let it sit for a little while, because this is going to be like watching paint dry, and we'll come back to it once it's gone off, if it goes off, and we'll see if it's going to work. Radio. Okay, so that actually did work, surprisingly. So now what we're going to do is over here, the standoffs where the headlight brackets bolt on the back of the XC grills, the left hand side of the car is missing. So what we've got is some Bundy pipe from the local hydraulic shop, and I sanded the little contact pad down there flat, and we've cut them to length, and we're going to bond them on there and fill the core up with that resin. And then we've got another one that goes in here. That one may be a little tricky. Once we've got it bonded in there, we might have to just put a bit of tape around it to hold it in place. So that's those two. And I did miss one of the cracks in the front face at the top, so we'll do that. And then we'll flip it over, and there's a couple more holes left to do. So yeah, it did work. And like I said, the mixing tube actually did seal off the tip, and the two part where it's not mixed down inside there is still soft and ready to go. So we've got another tip to wind on, and we'll get in and do this one. So I'll get some tape and clean some bits up, and we're ready to go. That off. Right. And we're ready to go again. Through. Through. This one. Can't get that. Cool. This one here is going to be a bit awkward because the tape holding it on means I can't do the entire piece, but we'll do the section there. Now, then, where's this one? That's straight. Now, did I get it all that time or did I miss it again? Okay, that's gonna have to be it for the moment. going to have to set off and dry before I can put any more on and disturb it and undo that tape. But for the most part, I think we've got it. So that one's filled and bonded to the bottom and smeared to try and join it in, and hopefully the core sets all the way down to the initial piece I put on the plastic and it holds, maybe. That one, once the initial coat has gone off, we'll put the tape off and glue the top section, and then we'll probably try to glue from say there around and build that up a little bit and around as well to try and give it some structure in there. And the cracks that were in the fins on the grill, I've gone in through the back of them as well, and the underside of some of those other repairs that we did, I've just done some underneath there where you're not really going to see it. We can neaten them up a little bit with the sander later on, but leave the majority of it there for strength. So we'll leave it at that for the moment, and we'll get back to it after it hardens. Okay, well, I'm going to say that worked because these two pieces of Chundy pipe are only held on by that glue, and they hold and support the weight of the flame and grill. So, and the spacing on them is near enough to the same as the ones on the side that's not broken. So I'm going to pop one more of these nozzles on, and I just want to backfill a little bit in through there, flip it over, and then we're going to make sure that this one's core is filled all the way down by topping it up at the front, and we're going to leave it at that until it's had some time to harden up. I'm not going to rush this, so I'll probably leave it till next weekend, or maybe one night through the week where we can sand it down properly and get it all smooth, and then we'll show you where we're at with it from there. But for now, until I sand it and try sanding it to see whether it's going to work or not, I'm going to call this good enough to say that I will probably give that XA grill a shot. And I mean, worst comes to worst, if the XA one doesn't come out good enough, I know you can buy them, but this is just a way cheaper option if it does work. Alright, so there's that. Flip him over to there. A little bit on here. And now, and then roll it over all the way. Should be able to get in and do this. And sorry guys, I'm going to stand in front of the camera, but the headlight lid has got a piece missing out of it, which I think I've been able to build up with this into a good enough shape that I can sand it back. But the lighting in this shot at the moment is alright. believe it's more in it. I do believe we're good. Grab you down off here, have a bit of a look in. So, no, it's not smooth or anything like that, but the initial stuff we put on further around the grill does seem to set off hard enough, and I did try a little bit with the Dremel. It does seem to sand up okay. So again, I'm going to let it sit for a day or two because our weather's pretty ordinary here at the moment, so I'll give it a full chance to cure, and then I'll come in and sand those couple of bits that you can see. Where's the other one? Go up to, but all of these are the underside because the grill's upside down at the moment. And round here on the back, sections where we won't have to sand, I won't get into, but there's the plate that we glued in, and sorry for the lighting, but it is terrible. I've put some of it on the back of there as well, and we'll see if we can lay this over now and turn it to get some light. Areas like here on top of the steel plate, we've managed to get enough on there, and it is going hard, so we should be able to get in there and whiz that down flat and go from there. And these ones here are still too fresh, but basing it off that other repair, hopefully I can get in and do the same with them, and they are solid core filled with that resin as well, so they're nice and strong. Alright, I might give it a go, see if that initial piece up here is good enough to sand now quickly, just to let you guys have a bit of a look. But you know what, no. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. 2 secs. Okay, so I've given that one spot that we did in the beginning a touch up with a belt sander and a bit of a hand sand. So that is the original side where there was no damage, and that is the part we've repaired. So now it's a case of go over the whole grill. All the repairs have to be sanded back and flushed off, and then we'll give it a clean up, and anywhere that you're going to see like that one there on top, we will give a bit of a touch up with some plastic filler or bog, whatever you want to call it, and we'll probably give it a plastic prime and give the entire grill a hit with some satin black just to see how it comes up, see if it comes up fresh. So I reckon that's going to be good enough to bond those rings into the XA grill. So then we can turn that into a 4 headlight GT/GS grill. Cool. Alrighty, gonna leave it there for now. This weather's not letting up, it's just gonna stay miserable. So until next time, thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye. Okay, so it did dry off enough that I could actually rough it in today. I haven't wet and dried the grill yet, but we've smoothed out all the glued in patches, and by what I can tell so far, they're nice and sound, nice and strong. For some unknown reason, he had self-tappers running from there out to the inner guard. Must have had clips broken or something like that. This part of the headlight ring from there through to there actually was eaten away down in, like it was all broken out. So that's all been made up with that plastic and roughed in to shape. That's the end of the bundy pipe that we filled, and the 2 sections of bundy pipe there and there that we've bonded on to give our standoffs to match the other side. And pretty much everything else is solid. So we're going to call it quits for now on that one. Through the week I'll get in and wet and dry it like I said I was going to, and get it ready to plasti prime and then put some primer on it, and probably do a wet on wet from that straight to satin black, so I don't have to sit there and try and rub in between the fins. So yeah, again, thanks for watching. Catch us next time. Bye.